like that. We'll go on the road, Bren. Hi, guys. Shabbat Shalom. How are you? Yeah. Yeah? Well, breathe. Take a deep breath. All right. This is a good crew. Look around, y'all. See each other's punims. You know, punim is a great Yiddish word. It means faces. Come on in, join us. And it comes from the word panim, which is the Hebrew word for face, right? So this is like one of those Yiddish words that often kind of crosses the boundary into, American lexicon. But a punim is a face. Like, you've ever heard the expression shena punim, a beautiful, pretty face? A lot of grandmas will say, "You're a shena punim." I don't know. Does Joy say that? No. But right. So, but the thing about panim, so it's the word for face, but it's plural, right? The way Hebrew is constructed, it's a plural noun. So why do you think the word for face, right, which is a singular term, face, in Hebrew is a plural word? Anyone have a thought? Well, you can have a thought. This is Bryn, by the way. Bryn, why do you? I feel like now we're some kind of duo here, some kind of Lennon and McCartney. Besides Brandy. Yes. So wait. So Bryn, why do you think the word for face in Hebrew is a plural word?
I mean, the first thing that came to mind is I sort of looked at the literal text of the priestly blessing, and the last sort of portion is Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha.
Correct.
God's face smile down upon us.
Beautiful.
And that we are made in the image of God, so it's not only our face, but it's also God's face.
I love that. It's a beautiful midrashic answer. I love that.
And
also, our faces are continually different. Our expressions change. We have multiple features on our face. Our faces are like the gateway to relationship. And anytime you look at somebody, and then you look at them again, their face is a little different. And so I love this concept of plurality. Oh my God, is that Phil and Fran? Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to cry. Shabbat Shalom, you guys. I remember where you all sat. Remember, you guys sat right there. Remember? I remember. You can sit wherever you want. That's Phil and Fran. They're awesome. You're not my neighbors anymore, are you? Did you move? Yeah. Webster. Oh, down south. You're like Southerners. Well, it's south of me. Anyway, the other thing about panim is that it also is associated with the verb for turning. Pone. So you turn your face, and every time you turn your face, you see something a little different from a little bit of a different perspective. So anyway, the other place where that phrase, panei is the constructive version of that word, panei, the face of. So in a few minutes we'll sing L'chadodi, which has the phrase panei Shabbat, right? The faces of Shabbat. And this is the point. We, right here, right now, look around. We are the panei Shabbat in this time and place. We are the faces that have gathered to receive Shabbat. So some of these faces you know really well. You see them all the time, right? Some people you've never seen before. But for the next, I don't know, we'll be here about 6 hours, 7 hours. The way it's going, right? But, for the next bunch of minutes, we are the community that's here. And really, probably this same group will never again exist, right, in time and space. It'll be a little bit of a different configuration tomorrow and next Friday and into the future. So this is a precious thing. We are the faces that are receiving Shabbat in this place, in this time. And I am just so grateful to be with all of you. And so Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. It is still Passover. A few more days to go. Whether or not you keep Passover dietary, whether you eat matzah or not, you're getting it tonight. So if you stick If you stick around, there's no challah. It's bare bones Shabbat. I called it this morning the Shabbat of affliction. It's like, but, still, it's good. It's good. It helps us kind of be our best selves. So I'm going to get my guitar. So let's start by singing, moving the molecules around, changing the energy, listening to your voice woven with everybody else's voice that's here. Music is such a huge part of the Sabbath of Shabbat in the Jewish tradition. People sit around Shabbat tables. You talked about the Seder that Noah was at that went to 11. I was telling a story at the second Seder here. I remember going to the old city in Jerusalem during Passover. 2, 3 in the morning, there were still Seders going on. But Shabbat too. People sit and they sing and they, there's this whole tradition of Zmirot, of all these songs that you could just kind of, so singing is really very sacred. So I'm glad that Britt is here to help with that. I'm glad you're all here to help with that. So if you turn to page 4, so the stuff I just said right now, that was on pages 1, 2, and 3. So word for word, it's scripted. I say the same thing every Friday about faces. It's not true. But we are on page 4 of the Friday night service in the Jewish tradition known as Kabbalat Shabbat. Hello, Sarah. To receive Shabbat. So we have 3 melodies. They're actually pretty similar. We have 3 sort of separate entities that we begin with that we kind of sing as a medley. The first is called nigun. And nigun, hey Rudy, nigun is the Hebrew word for melody. And it's become a spiritual practice to begin singing without having to worry about words. So a nigun is just lai to a melody. No English, no Hebrew, no any language, but just the language of spirit. And then we ease into language. There's a passage from the book of Isaiah, House of Prayer we call it, translated from its original Hebrew to English. And then finally, we work our way to the Hebrew from the book of Psalms, the book of poetry and music in the Hebrew Bible. And just give yourself permission to sing. Everybody has a good voice when we sing together. And when we sing with Britt. Helps us out. You ready? All right, take a deep breath, everybody. Go like this. Try that part. Yai lilai, yai lilai, lai, yai lai, lilai. Yai lilai, yai lilai, lai, yai lilai. Yai lilai, yai lilai, lai, yai lilai. Yai lai. Here's the second part. Yai lai, lai. Yai lai, 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 lai. Yai lai, lai. Yai lai, 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 lai. Yai lai, lai. Yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, lai. Yai lai, lai, lai. Keep going. Yai lai, yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, lai. Yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, lai. Yai lai, lai, yai lai, lai, lai. Yai lai, lai. Yai lai, lai, lai. The words of the prophet Isaiah are like this. And they shall come to my holy mountain, and and rejoice in my house of prayer. My house shall be a house of prayer for all peoples. My house shall be a house of prayer for all peoples, and they shall come to my holy mountain and rejoice in my house of prayer. My house shall be a house of prayer for all peoples. My house shall be a house of prayer for all peoples. And then, Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad, how good it is and how pleasant when we, a group of brothers and sisters, family and friends, when we sit together in peace and harmony like this. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hey guys, Shabbat Shalom, Chana. Well, just in a few weeks, Chana, right here on Friday night, is going to be confirmed with the rest of our confirmation class. So getting a little preview of Friday night services. I'm glad you're here. Glad you guys are here. So having sung our way to the beginning of the service, it's now time to light candles. It's already dark out, partly because of the storm, I think, but also because it's getting towards evening, even though it stays light later now, which is nice. But Shabbat has arrived. And it's traditional to begin the Sabbath. It's actually a mitzvah to begin the Sabbath with the lighting of lights. I don't know. I'm wondering, you guys want to come up, and Joy and Jamie and the whole row. The whole row. Wow, you got applause. That's because you're Bryn's people. That's Baba Joy. I love that. That feels like you're like an Indian mystic, like Baba Joy, right? Like, right? There's this person. Do you guys know this? There's a person who's like the hugging. She's known for just hugging. She sits at a stage. She's like Hindu. It's amazing. And like she sits there, and people, like thousands of people, come just to like line up and get a hug from her. You've never heard of that? No. There's somebody.
That's a great gig.
There's somebody at CRC who really kind of follows her around. Anyway, and I think her name's something like Baba Joy. That's what I think. That's why I figured out. And welcome from Sharon, Massachusetts, and continued healing. And we're so glad you guys are here. So on page 4 at the bottom is a song we sing while the candles are being lit. It's a kavanah song in preparation for the candle lighting. And it's written by the wonderful Debbie Friedman of blessed memory. So you guys work on it. It'll happen.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know if I should start.
No, yeah. That's yes. So let's sing, and then we'll sing the blessing for lighting the candles. You guys stay up here if those candles are lit. Hear our prayers we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayers to you. Let us light these lights and see our way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light see our way to you, and let us say amen. And now you can spread that light around wherever it needs to go, all the people and places that need extra light and extra love. But whether you know it or not, whether you can always believe it or not, there's always enough to go around, always enough spiritual light. So what we do is we take that light, some of it, and we bring it right back in to our heart and soul. And when you close your eyes, you can see those sparks of light that are what you have inside of you, the courage you need and the strength you need and the love you need and the goodness that you need. Fill yourself with that Sabbath renewal, that Sabbath goodness, and let's sing with Bryn and our community the bracha, the blessing for beginning the Sabbath with the lighting of lights.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. You can turn to someone next to you or in front of you or behind you and wish them a good Shabbos. And when you're done doing that, I point you to the camera over the door. That camera represents all the people that are streaming this service and watching us from near and far. Thank you to Michael and Chelsea for making sure we are broadcasting. I don't think that's the right word anymore, but streaming. So Shabbat Shalom to our larger community that is with us. And Shabbat Shalom to you all. Shabbat Shalom to the universe. I hope that our being together brings more peace and more goodness to the whole world. So there's one more blessing I want to do tonight in the beginning of the service. Not only is it Passover, you guys know there's a whole sort of debate, not a debate, there's two different endings for Passover, for people that keep a whole week or 8 days of Passover, right? So maybe one of these days I'll go into it, but for most Reform Jews, Passover is a 7-day holiday, just like it's described in the Torah, just like is practiced in Israel amongst all Jews. So that means that Shabbat ends on Monday night. But the more traditional Orthodox conservative Jews who live outside of Israel have long celebrated an extra day of every holiday, but which one? Which holiday would you not? Yom Kippur, right? Because fasting 2 days seems unusually arduous, right? But every other holiday gets an extra day tagged on. It's because, way back before we formalized the calendar, Jews who lived outside of Israel didn't really exactly know when the new moon was happening. And everything we do is based on the moon cycle. So just to make sure they didn't miss it, they added an extra day. Years later, we formalized the calendar, so Reform Judaism, one of the first reforms of Reform Judaism was to take away that extra day. So many traditional Jews, most traditional Jews now still do 8 days, and they end Passover, meaning they refrain from eating chametz on Tuesday night. So you have the choice, or you might have already ended Passover for all I know. But I go Monday night, so just FYI. But though it's still Passover, we also have started a ritual starting last Tuesday night when we had our second Seders of counting the Omer, which is the 50 days between the holiday of Passover and the holiday of Shavuot, right? And we'll be doing every single night besides Friday nights. We'll be doing an official counting via stream. Different rabbis from our homes will give a Omer message and formally count the Omer. It connects Passover to Shavuot. It connects freedom to responsibility. It connects the desert to the mountain. It connects planting to first fruits.
Connects matzah to cheesecake.
That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. It's true, and it makes us really understand that when we count our days, every day can count. So this, starting now, we lit the candles. The sun has set. It is the 4th day of our journey, of our Omer journey. And there's a blessing, because it's a mitzvah to count the Omer. It's not in your book, but it's the same beginning as when we lit candles, Asher Kidshanu, the mitzvah Tav Tzivanu, but it ends with this mitzvah, Al Sifirat HaOmer, the mitzvah, the sacred obligation of counting the days of the Omer. So we'll do the blessing together. We'll officially remind ourselves it's day 4 of the Omer, and then we'll carry on with the service. So everybody ready? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sifirat ha'omer. Blessed is the Holy One, whose presence fills creation, from where we derive mitzvahs, sacred deeds that fill our lives with meaning and purpose, including the mitzvah of counting the days between Passover and Shavuos, this being day 4. Amen. All right. You know what, Brenda, it would be really cool if somebody wrote a unique original melody to the Omer lesson. Just saying. Putting it out there in the universe.
Planted the seed.
See if it grows. I planted the seed. And,
Right, we'll see if it grows.
and that's what happens at Passover, is the planting time.
Right. It's our first harvest holiday.
I'm liking this brandy thing. Page 11. We're going to call each other to prayer. This is sort of the beginning of the formal part of although here it's not ever that formal, but the kind of the beginning of our prayer service. Everything else is sort of introduction and warm-up. But these are the prayers in our tradition to receive the Shabbat. So what I'd like to do is ask if you're able to please stand so we can recognize each other. We can recognize the divinity in each other's faces and the divine presence that is all around us and within us. Page 11 is the ancient call to prayer, the Baruch. This version adds some English, and I will read the English and then we'll sing it. Pretty easy, but it's all about being present, being radically present in a holy moment. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? And am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada lai lai lai, 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 yada lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada lai lai lai, 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 yada lai lai lai. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yada lai lai lai, 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 yada lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? I think the rain is singing along with us, right? Have a seat. Man, oh man. My weather app said it was done at noon. So I don't believe it's really happening. This is another. What did you say? Yeah, all right, what did you say, Steve? Oh, fair. Okay.
That too.
This kind of lead-in Kabbalat to the Shema is also not in the prayer book. It'll be in the next version. This congregation has always sort of done its own prayer book, even, well, when we were started off there across the street at the church. And I think it was like 10 pages stapled together. Sarah's shaking her head. And loose, right? And we kind of just kept growing it and adding to it and changing it. When someone would introduce a new liturgy, a new melody, it would work its way into the prayer book. This one's probably about 10 years old, this edition, so it's about time. It's a big project to put together a new prayer book, because you want to make sure that the Hebrew's all correct. But I think this will make its way into the next edition. It's all about the theme of the Shema. One love for each other, sisters, brothers, and siblings. We're one, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, singing one. There you go. One. Oh yeah, one. Yeah. One love, one blood, one heart, one soul, one drum, one rhythm, one tribe, and all of us singing one. Oh yeah, one. Oh, love is the temple, love the higher law. Love is the temple, love the highest law. Love is the temple, love the higher law. Love is the temple, love the highest law. Sing it one. One more time, oh yeah, one. If it's your custom to stand as you recite the Shema, I invite you to stand. It is also traditional in many communities, Jewish communities, to stay seated. Here, of course, we give you the choice. Some people always stand, and some people always stay seated, and some people, it just depends on the moment. But through all of our differences, and this is really the point, through all of our diversity, all kinds of diversities, we are one. That's what the Shema tells us. And that, to me, is really a deep truth that often we disregard that, or we forget it, or we dismiss it. But we all have so much more in common than we have that divides us. And maybe for Jews, singing the Shema reminds us of that, especially in a time that feels so divisive and so tribal. Hard to believe we've gotten back to that place in some way, shape, or form. I don't know exactly how we lost our way. I don't know if we've lost our way, but I think that there's been a deviation from the way. So maybe this is our attempt to bring it back together, at least in this place, to extend ourselves to all places. You know, we know we're one. When one of us, even someone you've never heard of, is suffering, and you hear about their suffering, you've never met them, you've never seen their face, we feel sympathy and compassion. Somebody has something they're celebrating, we hear about. It's our natural instinct to be happy for them. We're all connected. And I think it's a spiritual practice to remember that. And one of the ways we do that is by singing about oneness in the Shema, which comes right from the Torah. It's not some modern idea. Shema is as ancient, as some of our writings get. And somebody knew something to pull it out of the Torah all those years ago and say, this has to be part of our regular spiritual practice at services and at bedtime and before you die, and all these different times we're instructed to have the Shema on our lips. Because the truth is there's no separation. It's all artificial. There's no real national separation or cultural or religious or interpersonal. There's not even separation between humanity and the natural world. There's not even separation between human creation and God and the divine. It's all one, echad. So take another deep breath, a nishima amuka. Feel our oneness with each other and the universe. And let's give voice to that sentiment by chanting Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Really not even any separation between those of us who are living and those who have passed away. They're still with us. I know there's people here who've come to say Kaddish for a loved one, And while we miss our loved ones, their physical presence, we know they're still one with us. They're still with us. We feel them, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'derech Usholtecha uvkumecha, ukashartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafo bein einecha, uktavtam al mizuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. I'm going to go a little off script here, off the door, where Micha Mocha usually is. I'm going to sing what's become, at least this year, my favorite Passover song. It's still Passover. Micha Mocha, of course, is from the Song of the Sea, from that same story that is our story we tell over and over again on Passover. But there's this amazing, I don't know if you do it at your Seders, but we did it Tuesday night at CRC. Some of you were at the second Seder at CRC, and I sang it Monday night with my family. I call it the Cliff Notes version of the Passover story, right? It's only got 5 Hebrew words, but it tells the whole story. It's the same as Micha. Micha Mocha actually skips the bondage part of the story. It's all about freedom. That's because it's sung on Shabbat. On Passover, we have to go to the slavery before we get to the freedom. But this song, this is the story. It's Cliff Notes. Avadim Hayenu Ata b'nei Chorim. Does anyone recognize that from their Seder, from your Haggadahs? Avadim Hayenu Ata b'nei Chorim. What's it mean? We were slaves, but now we're free. That's the thing. That's the whole story. Eat some matzah, have a good night. So I like the tune. I don't know whose tune this is, but I think it's kind of the most traditional. Huh?
It might be.
Oh, could be. I don't know. Zoe does that. They sing they're just talking, and all of a sudden they're singing just like talking about like a recipe they're making, and all of a sudden it's musical. Do you do that too?
Yes, I sing speak.
Yeah, is that what it's called? It's cool.
Will Ferrell does it in Elf.
What?
Will Ferrell does it in Elf. Just think of the part where he's like, I'm singing, and now we're singing.
Avadim chayinu, chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, You guys can clap your hands. Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, One more. Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorin, Nice. That's Passover in a nutshell. Or not a nutshell, but I don't know. In a what are those things called? In a macaroon shell. They don't have shells, do they? Forget it. Yeah, right?
Coconut shell. Coconuts are shells.
We're on page 20, my friends. One more redemption prayer surrounding the Shema. It's only an evening prayer. So I don't know how many people have been here for this. I don't think we have any teachers in our religious school here tonight. But after, Bryn, I know you were in Hebrew school here all those years ago, but I think long after you ended your time at religious school, we started doing something. We started having a service as part of our Wednesday. Hannah, started having a service on Wednesdays, and first we were in here in the sanctuary, which is it's a beautiful sanctuary. This is where we do our services, but it just didn't feel right for that group. This is like 3rd through 6th graders. They're all like kind of on their journey to bar and bat mitzvah, and we kind of hit upon the oneg room, that circular room that is a place that we connect to each other after services and gather together, and it just worked. And so the kids, they sit in a circle, and Rabbi Daniel, Rabbi Karen and I, we tell stories and sing songs and share. And we end with Hashkivenu. And the kids put their arms around each other. And it's really very beautiful. And I guess the reason it's on my mind is because this Wednesday is the last Wednesday for the year, right? We got summer break a little early, but that's our last Wednesday of religious school. And last year, a couple kids were actually crying. Imagine that. You guys that went to like religious school when you were little, can you imagine crying because it's over? No, it's pretty special. I certainly did it when I was a kid. But we created a really beautiful community. And somehow this prayer is part of that. And just our way of sending out our best hopes and wishes and prayers for each other. Take this soul, living in my skin and bones. Take this soul and let it sing. Yahweh child is born. Yahweh, Yahweh, it's always dark before the dawn. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. All right, another deep breath. Dare to believe, dare to have faith, dare to be optimistic in the face of everything we know, despite all our challenges, despite all that is so difficult to comprehend and to deal with. Dare to believe in this part of the prayer. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gotta be alright. 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 Ufros aleinu sukkah. Sukkot shlomecha, ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, and cover over us tonight with a Sukkot shalom, a shelter of peace for you, for those you love. A Sukkot shalom, a shelter of peace over all creation, over everyone and everything that dwells on earth. May this night, this Kabbalat Shabbat, this fourth day of counting the Omer, this day we came together to sing and pray and connect. May this night help us go to sleep in peace so we can wake up l'chaim, to life, with renewal, new hope, new faith, more love, more peace. Shalom. Amen. Turn to page 23. And again, if you're able, please rise. So this is another section of prayer. We just went through the Shema and the blessings surrounding the Shema. This section is known as Tefillah, and it's become our custom on Friday nights to begin together with words from another psalm that we'll sing in just a second, and then have some time for silent prayer or meditation or reflection, whatever prayers you want to put into the universe, accompanied by the rain and one another's prayers. And when you're through with that silent time, just have a seat. And when most of us are seated, we'll carry on with the service towards the conclusion. But first we start with this section of a psalm. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. It's the psalm of opening. Patach is an opening. So the psalm says that our mouths should be open, to sing words of praise and to say kind words and sacred words. But also we think about open hearts and open minds and open souls and open doors to welcome each other, open arms to receive one another, to be open. This is a time of opening. Yai lai 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 sifatai tiftach. Yai lai 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 ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yai lai 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 Adonai. Yai lai 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 sifatai tiftach. Yai lai 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 ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yai lai 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 Adonai. Yai lai 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 sifatai tiftach. Yai lai 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 ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yai lai 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 Adonai. Yai lai 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 sifatai tiftach. Yai lai 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 ufi yagid tehilatecha. Turn to page 31. My go-to, this spot is reserved at the end of the tefillah for a prayer for peace, for shalom. And Hashkivenu is also a peace prayer. There's a theory that all prayers, said with the right intention are prayers for peace. But this is specifically, prayers, peace prayers of this moment. But my go-to has become this one on page 31, which is a very contemporary prayer. It was written by a rabbi who I've actually met a couple times. When he first started out, he was actually in Sharon, Massachusetts. Trying to remember his name. He was at Temple Israel just for a very short time as like their assistant rabbi. Also, I'm blanking on his name. Correct. Feel like all of a sudden you won the game show. Oh, is it on there? Oh. As I was Rabbi what's funny? That's not the first time I've done that. Like I don't remember his name. Well, no, I mean, yeah. Rabbi Menachem Creditor, and then the next time I met him actually now he's in Berkeley. A rabbi at a congregation in Berkeley, and I was at a conference that was hosted by his synagogue. And, but this has become, every once in a while, like Debbie Friedman's another one, a contemporary Jewish musician writes a prayer that's not even a version of an ancient prayer. It's a new prayer, and just takes off in the Jewish world. And this is one of them. This is sung all over. Sometimes even not in synagogue settings, but it's been used often in protests when there's Jewish folks involved in the protests. It's a beautiful sentiment. It's called Olam Chesed Yibaneh, and it's a prayer for the whole world. That's what Olam is. That the world should be more filled with chesed, with kindness, with love, with grace, with joy, with beauty, all the good stuff, all the blessings. There should be more of that. In fact, the prayer uses the verb, boneh, which is to build, that we should literally rebuild the world in some sort of metaphorical sense with love, with peace, with blessing. So there's Hebrew, and then there's some English, and it's Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yadadai, Dai, Yadadai, Dai. 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 I will build this world from love. Yada-dai, dai, yada-dai, yada-dai. And you must build this world from love. Yada-dai, yada-dai. And if we build this world from love, yada-dai, yada-dai. Then God will build this world from love. Yada-dai, yada-dai, yada-dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada-dai, yada-dai, yada-dai. And Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada-dai, yada-dai, yada-dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada-dai, yada-dai, yada-dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada-dai, yada-dai, yada-dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada-dai, yada-dai. Amen. Just want to share something with you. It is the Shabbat of Passover. The Shabbat. It's the term is the Chol HaMoed, the middle days of Passover. So in traditional Judaism, the first 2 days are Yontif, are kind of the part of the holiday that is like kind of the most exalted. And then the last 2 are also considered Yontif, although many liberal Jews don't kind of regard, anything but the first night Seder as the kind of the high point of Passover. But these days are called the middle days. Chol is the word for like ordinary, because you can, if you're traditional and if you follow Jewish law, you can drive during the middle days, and you can, it's not like a Shabbat, except on Shabbat, but the middle days. So this is Chol HaMoed, Passover. So it's the Shabbat that's in the middle of Passover. So that's okay, thank you. I was like, wait a minute. So I just thought I'd bring a little bit of Passover to this Shabbat service, since it is Passover. And I didn't bring it in with me, but a long time ago I put together a Haggadah. Before I went to rabbinical school, kind of for my family. And I've been using it here and there, and then I started using it for the second Seder at CRC way back 4 years ago. And then people started asking me if they could use it for their Seders, and it's kind of like I get emails this time of year from people like I've never even met that I use your Seder. It's online because I was part of a group, part of an organization, Jews United for Justice, and they wanted to put some Passover materials on their website, so they put up my Haggadah. So there's all kinds of stuff. I revised it a couple of times. It's dedicated to my dear friend John Garfield, who was a friend from high school and college, who in 1987 passed away just like out of nowhere suddenly. It turns out he had an enlarged heart, and he died right before I was coming home. I was living in Washington, D.C. actually, a couple years after college, and it was like Passover time when he died, and anyway, so I dedicated the Haggadah to him, and all these years later I think about John. So one of the things that's in my Haggadah, the Haggadah that I compiled, is a story that I know the reason, but this year really was extra poignant. You know, it's really interesting, the holiday, we call it a cycle, the Jewish holiday cycle. You know, they're depicted on that mosaic on the floor of our Oneg room. But it's really a spiral, because although it's the same holiday every year, Passover, it's different each year for us. We're different. We have different experiences, and we're going through some different things, and we have different knowledge, and we've grown, so each year of Passover, though it's largely the same rituals. A Seder is literally an order, right? You got to do things in order. It's never the same. And so this year, what really kind of spoke to me was this very short little story, a true story, that I'm going to read to you right now. It's just like one little paragraph. It's called, "Who Will Be Today's Midwives?" Right? That really amazing part of the Passover story where the midwives, we don't know who they were. Some people in the tradition say that they were Jewish, others say they were Egyptian. But either way, they were, they saved the firstborn Hebrew babies from the Pharaoh's edict to kill all the firstborn Hebrew babies. So the question was, who will be today's midwives? And here's the story. One Sunday morning in 1941, in Nazi-occupied Netherlands, a mysterious character rode up on his bicycle and entered the Calvinist church, the local Calvinist church. He ascended the podium and read aloud the story of the midwives who saved the Hebrew babies and defied Pharaoh's policy of genocide. "Who is today's Pharaoh?" he asked. "Hitler," the congregation replied. "Who are today's Hebrew babies?" "The Jews," the congregation replied. "Who will be today's midwives?" He left the church, leaving his question hanging in the air. The epilogue of the story is, during the war, 7 families from this little church, just that church, hid Jews and other resistors from the Nazis, right? That question, that poignant, pertinent question, that is still a question that needs to be asked. Who are today's midwives, right? Who are our allies? Who are we allies to? Who are we going to step up to protect? Who is going to step up and protect us? 7 families from that church had the ultimate courage and saved lives. So I also want to leave that question hanging in the air like that mysterious character in the Netherlands. Who will be today's midwives? Amen. I think we're going to sort of do some announcements here. A bunch of things, as always, going on at the synagogue. First of all, there's one more Seder, and it's Sunday. It's the Women's Seder. I'm going to read the description. The Women's Seder is an inclusive feminine space for all who feel comfortable here. Please join us at 5 p.m. on April 28th, that's Sunday, as we share a potluck meal and discuss the blessing of Miriam's well and how we continue in its absence. The Seder is free. You have to bring something for the potluck, but you should RSVP if you can. Probably too late to RSVP because the office is closed over the weekend, but just show up on Sunday. They'll take good care of you at the Women's Seder. So that's happening on Sunday. I have a note here that our tikkun closet, where you enter the synagogue, we call it the tikkun closet. Tikkun is the Hebrew word for repair. It's become kind of the way we talk about social justice and trying to, do good in the world and locally and globally. That closet has clothing and some kind of perishable foods that anyone is invited to bring and anyone is invited to take. And people come here throughout, you're all not here during the week, but I'm here. And every day someone comes to our tikkun closet looking for a pair of shoes or a coat or, a can of soup. And that's the deal. So the note here says that the tikkun closet donations are needed. They're in great need of food items, individual juices and water, easy open cans, examples: ravioli, beef faroni, tuna chili and chicken, crackers, like with cheese and peanut butter, and jelly, peanut butter and jelly snacks, okay? They're also looking for clothing items. People ask for men's size large and extra large t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, men's long black socks, shaving razors, and deodorant for men and for women. So next time you come here, bring some stuff for the closet. Just put it in there. I promise you, when you come back, it'll likely be gone because someone will take it that needs it. Then just, I will say, Hannah is here with her family, and let's see, May 11th, that's 2 Fridays from now? May 10th, 2 Fridays. So this is a Friday night group, we have Friday night people and Saturday morning people. We have people that come to both. We've got people that come to neither. That's kind of the way, that's sort of the way, it's the way it goes. It's okay. But very special service on Friday, May 10th, which is our wonderful confirmation class. 5784 will be confirmed as part of the Friday night service. It's an amazing, if you've never been to a confirmation service, it's just very lovely. Each confirmand, those are our sophomores in high school, will write about their Jewish journey so far. And then one by one, they will speak their truths. And trust me, they can say anything they want. No censorship from me. And it really, it's really very awesome. So, and you're all invited. Their families and friends will come too, and spread the word because you don't want to miss it. That's May 10th. And then finally, right before May 10th, May 9th, which must be a Thursday, our transition board has called for a congregational town hall meeting. I'm just going to read this one too. CRC's board of directors and rabbis are inviting all CRC members to a special town hall meeting Thursday, May 9th, where members will learn firsthand about the significant challenges our congregation faces, which is true, we are facing challenges. Also, a lot of amazing things happen here as well, and what is being done about them. And a lot's being done. There's a lot of things that are happening, and discuss what members can do to help. It'll be from 6 to 7:30, Thursday, May 9th. Passover will be over, and we hope everyone can make it. Sound good? Okay. So those are the announcements. There's all kinds of classes and opportunities to serve. But before we leave each other in the sanctuary, of course, we want to reserve time for remembrance, to say Kaddish for our loved ones. And before I read the names of the people we're all remembering communally, if those of you that are here to say Kaddish specifically for a loved one, maybe it's the yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, or you might be in your year of mourning, please stand so we could recognize you and give you the comfort and sympathy that you you should have as a mourner, and also to say the names so we could fill this sanctuary with their memories, with their names. So we'll start with Carl. Yeah. 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 Oh. Oh, Carl. Oh, such a tender time. I'm glad that you, on the actual day of the yard site, you were surrounded by love. But also, this too is the yard site because it's Shabbat, and this is the time we say Kaddish. So for your wife, Sue, a blessed memory. Thank you. Please.
For my grandfather, Warren Hoffner, passed away on Thursday.
Oh, just Thursday. Oh, our condolences. I'm so sorry for your loss. Blessed memory. Do we have other names? We remember them all together, right? All those wonderful grandparents. And you guys, for your father, Zichrono Livracha, may his memory be a blessing. Thank you. He was a Zaidi, that's what friends, that's friendship. Wow. Yeah.
And Betty Blumoff.
And Fran and Phil. Yeah. Josh. 2 years. So sorry. I loved Porter. That's right. That was one of his names in life, Porter. Josh Porter. We just continually sending you love. I'm so sorry, and I'm glad that you're here with your community to say Kaddish for him on this second yard site, Fran. Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Phil. A blessed memory. And your mom, Zichrono Livracha. May she be an angel for you, right? Yeah. Did you have a name, Steve? Gramps. Yeah. He's sort of a legend around here, Yeah, for sure. Cheer. We remember them with you. Thank you. And Beth and Hannah. Yeah. Been a tough year, but you have amazing people. Those grandparents of yours, what a special crew, He was a wonderful husband and a wonderful father, an amazing grandfather, and I know you're walking this path of mourning, of grief, and just know that you're not alone. We love you guys. Thank you. Asking for names from the booth, from streaming.
Yes, we're remembering Lucille Boyd, Nikia Marie Boyd, Joan Baker, and don't have a name, but their friend lost someone to overdose this week.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. And Steve.
First from my cousin Dana Engelmark, married last week ago.
So sorry.
And Israel this week, Sharif Suad, 35. Benjamin Atamar, 14. Sergeant Raif Harouche, 20. Sergeant Eli Zakir, 20. First Sergeant Salim Al-Qaresha, 42. Major George Zimmer, 27. First Sergeant Simon Wyatt.
Thank you, Steve. And thinking about everybody, in that conflict, that war, I had a chair at my Seder for the hostages. I know many people did as well. Just tragedies all the way around. And so our hearts are open to all who've lost their lives in this conflict, that we continue to pray for peace, for shalom and for salam. Thank you, Steve, for bringing their names to us. And I'm so sorry about your cousin. I know that she was very close to you, and it's sending our love and condolences. So now I'm going to ask that everyone stand with our mourners. Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, Dell. February. Did she die like in February? Yeah. Yeah. She was awesome. We used to have lots more seders than we have now. We had we really, it was like kind of, it was wonderful, but it was also really hard on our staff. And Dell, man, she was in the kitchen. It's just true. So thank you for remembering Dell at Passover. Go ahead, Sarah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Now everyone's standing. I do have names. Sarah said some of them, but these are people that we're remembering as a congregation. So this is the yahrzeit time for Inga Goldberg. That's Jonathan Goldberg's mother, Marion's mother-in-law. Joyce Leventhal Ladato, Gerald Ragsdale, Robert Rothenberg. Also David Curry. David used to come to Friday night services all the time. Norma Halperin, Jacqueline Poltman, Brian Poltman and Paula Kessler's mother. And there's Josh's name, Joshua Daniel Porter. Moshe Amsel and Rose, there's your mom, Rose Elefross. Geraldine Bluestein, and this is the first yahrzeit for Gail Hollefeld, Jill's mother. I know Jill often watches on the stream. We're thinking about you, Jill, on this yahrzeit of your mom. Blanche Linder and Sydney Miller, Eva Klein Raymond, Sybil Shapiro, Leon Strauss, and Tiffany Fomera. It's also upcoming this week, the yahrzeits of Alex Hochberg, a young man, died too soon. Marjorie Rosenblum Case, Michael Simpson. I just did the funeral today of Michael's mom, Eleanor, and I also did Michael's funeral. I didn't realize it was his yahrzeit. Nathan Weissman. Nathan was the son of Howard and Susan, and kind of really a part of the story of CRC. He died right when we were starting out, little baby, and there was even a high holiday piece of music written for Nathan. So we're thinking about you guys, Susan and Howard. For Lily Pollock and for Renee Chick, Erica's mother, and David Matthews. That's Lori Becker's brother, and Maya's in our confirmation class. That's her uncle. Nathan Kurtzman, Stephanie's grandfather. Coming up is Garrett Hill, Rabbi Susan's nephew. Benjamin Levy, Bobby Fraunglass's grandfather. Aaliyah Light, who was Tali's sister. Lou Osheroff, Nicole's father. And Mary Rosenberg, Paulette's mother. And then our recent deaths in our congregation, I want to say their names as well. Most recently, our member, Eduardos Sledopolsky, and there's Eleanor Simpson and Gary Sewell, Ellen's husband. Dana Engelhart, Steve's cousin and Hillary's cousin. Rhonda Banford, Philip Needleman and Ralph Wafer. Rosalind Gross Rosenthal, Nick Nicholson. There he is, Ernest Nick Nicholson. Barry Chapnick and Marilyn McLaughlin. Mel Spiegelglass and Marilyn Fox. Arthur Levine and Eileen Ehrlich. Hank Davenport and Ellen Jean Vickery and Rick Isserman. Geraldine Schiller and Shirley Landy and Myra Levine, Scott's mother, and Myra's grandson, Charlie, was bar mitzvah just a few weeks ago, right here. Gina Rotman, Junie Wigder Krivet, Diane Katzman's mother. Yakir Hexter, Chris Hexter's grandson, who was a member of the IDF who died in battle. Rose Waldman, Miriam Weintraub, Barry Friedman, Dennis Epstein, and Kathy James, and Jeff Jappa, a father of 4 amazing young men, member of CRC, and he died in an automobile accident back in October. Also on our list is Marlene Eisenstein and Roger Goldman, Josh's father and Stephanie's husband, and really the founder of our congregation. Morton Ornstein, Joy Lieberman's brother. Joy was here for Charlie Levine's bar mitzvah. She looks great. Andy Poltman, Brian and Paula's brother. Tovia Siegel, Sarah's mother, and Hilda Polsky. And Linda Randall, my mom. Matt Blickenstaff, Marjorie Shepard, and there at the very top of our list, Carl, is Sue Smith, your wife of blessed memory. So with all those names, all those people, all those worlds in our hearts and souls, let us turn to pages 41 and 42, where we will recite together the mourner's Kaddish for our loved ones. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divra kirotei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chai echon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayei techol Beit Yisrael, B'galal u'v'zman kari ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudisha v'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. May all of our loved ones, may their memories be a blessing. Zichronam levracha, and let us sing for them, for us, for the world, a prayer for peace. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. So it's our kind of the way we do Friday nights around here is we'll do our closing blessing from the Torah, and then I'll get my guitar and I'm going to sing another nigun, and I'll lead everybody out to the Oneg room. If you want to stick around, we'll say the blessings out in the Oneg room for Kiddush and Motzi, and of course on Passover, the blessing for eating matzah as a mitzvah of Passover. And then if you want to stick around and kind of wait till the rain slows down, whatever you want to do, we'll have some food out there, kosher for Passover food, so there won't be much. But you know, we got each other, so that's good. So I want to thank Bryn Sentnor for singing and for accompanying this service with her charm and musicality. A few jokes too. That was good. That's good. And Michael and Chelsea in the booth, and really all of you, just for being here, for being our congregation on this Friday night. As we received Shabbat together, I hope it's a great rest of Shabbat. I ask that you all put your arms around each other, connect to one another, and fellowship in all the Pnei Shabbat, all the faces of the Shabbos. And we give this blessing, again, right from the Torah scroll into our hearts and souls, and from our lips we say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless and keep you now and always. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine down upon you and always be kind and loving and warm and gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And may we all be blessed with the greatest gift of all, the gift of shalom, of peace and harmony and wholeness in our hearts, in our homes, in our communities, in the places where we go to school. God willing, there should be peace in our schools, in our workplaces, in our cities and towns and rural areas, in our nation, and God willing soon may there be more peace, more shalom throughout the whole world, all creation, and may this Shabbat be part of bringing the world closer to peace. And let us say amen.
Amen.
And Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good Shabbat.